Hello and welcome to South Jersey in Focus. I'm your host, Veronica Dudo. On this week's episode, a new generation of cleaner Cape May-Lewes ferry boats are on the horizon thanks to a $20 million federal grant. Plus, it's the holiday season and Renault Winery has a long list of festivities for visitors to enjoy, from meeting Santa to ice skating in their Vintner Wonderland. In Delaware, plans to modernize the Cape May-Lewes Ferry fleet are gaining momentum with a $20 million federal grant from the Department of Transportation. This funding will help build a new diesel hybrid ferry set to join the fleet by the summer of 2027. Officials say the new vessel will significantly reduce emissions and fuel consumption, contributing to cleaner air and eco-friendly operations. According to Delaware's congressional delegation, the investment is made possible by the bipartisan infrastructure law and is a critical step toward sustainable and efficient ferry service for the region. Heath Gehrke, the director of ferry operations for the Delaware River and Bay Authority, joins me now. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here, Veronica.
So first, what makes this $20 million federal grant so crucial for modernizing the Cape May-Lewes ferry fleet?
Well, ferries are expensive in general. New ferries are very expensive, and hybrid new ferries are even more expensive. So it really, I think, makes the impetus to be green that much easier. It will help us to accomplish that right out of the gate, being hybrid.
Now, can you tell us more about the vessel that was chosen for replacement, and how does its current age and condition factor into this decision?
Sure. The vessel that probably will be the first one to be put on standby is the Cape May-Lewes. So it was built in 1981. It's actually the newest vessel of the fleet, but it's got the oldest equipment. So the propulsion system is circa 1929 technology. It was, of course, put on board when the ship was built, so it wasn't that old, but the technology is from World War II submarines. So the diesels that power that ship are what we call Tier 0, which means there's almost no standards for emissions. The two other vessels in our fleet have been repowered to Tier 3, which is a much cleaner burning engine by EPA standards. And the new ferry will have a Tier 4 diesel, but will also be equipped with batteries so that for a certain portion of the trip, it will operate on batteries alone. We'll have almost zero emissions. Initially, that will be very little. It'll be at the dock and maneuvering in and out of the dock. But as the shoreside infrastructure is improved, the charging infrastructure, we're really hoping that down the road, we'll power that vessel with batteries alone.
Now, for so many people, they're used to upgrading their vehicles, and it's something that they do a bit more frequent than what we're talking about here. Really incredible that the technologies from 1929 were approaching 100 years. And then, of course, as you mentioned, the vessel itself from the 80s. Can you just talk a little bit about why they are still able to work and be powered, and kind of just behind the scenes, how that all comes together?
Sure. I mean, we're fortunate that the Delaware River and Bay Authority is a very conscientious operator. We don't scrimp on maintenance, and obviously safety of our customers is the primary concern. So the vessels have had good care and attention over their 45 to 50-year lives. It is getting more difficult all the time now, though, to get parts when you're operating such old technology. So it's time, and probably, we've seen this coming, but it's getting to the point where it's very, very difficult to get parts for the old equipment.
Now, how will the new diesel hybrid ferry help reduce emissions, and what are the environmental benefits for the surrounding communities?
Sure. I mean, this technology isn't 100% designed yet, but the estimates show that there's anywhere from 37 to 40% reduction in emissions depending on the pollutant. So there's particulate matter, there's hydrogen I'm sorry, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, all of those things, of course, greenhouse gases, all of those things are very detrimental to people's health, detrimental to the ozone layer. Those are the kind of things that people are working on these days trying to eliminate. And this ferry will be far along the way. Like I said, we want to eventually operate on batteries alone. But similar to your hybrid electric vehicles, I mean, they just emit so much less. It's definitely beneficial for the environment. Like a lot of EVs and plug-in hybrids, it's difficult sometimes just to get the electricity that we need. So there's a little bit of a process that we're aware of that will develop over time, not inexpensively either. So we're hopeful that the infrastructure improves in terms of the utility, and hopefully the wind farms will help. But we also have improvements to do on our terminals on either side to make the vessel operate more with electricity and less with diesel.
What role did Delaware's congressional delegation play in securing this funding, and why is this project significant for the region?
Well, they played an extremely important part. I mean, $20 million is no small change. I understand that in this particular grant program, which is the FTA's low or no emissions ferries, this was the largest grant that was awarded for this year. So, of course, that takes support by the delegation, not just in Delaware, but there were supporters in New Jersey as well. And so we're very thankful for that. I think, like I said before, it just helps us to firmly move forward with the green technology. Essentially, the ship without the green technology would be maybe $20 million less. So, we're taking a big step here. We're committed to moving forward in a responsible and eco-friendly way, and our legislators helped us do it. So it's very, very important. Everybody, I think, sees the value, particularly in commercial vehicles, of really trying to reduce the emissions that come from a public service. And we're proud. That's part of the DRBA's mission overall, is to be good partners, good neighbors, and be ecologically friendly to the environment.
For residents and visitors who may not be familiar with the ferry and its operations and locations, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yep, we operate currently 3 RoPax ferries, so they carry vehicles up to 100 standard sized vehicles and up to 800 passengers each. They operate year round, so we do have a few days of the year where we don't operate due to weather or mechanical difficulties, but our intention is to sail 365 days. We transit between Lewes, Delaware, and Cape May, New Jersey. It's a distance of about 14 nautical miles. It takes roughly an hour and a half, and we'll operate as few as one vessel doing 4 round trips in the winter, up to 3 vessels doing 18 round trips in the summer. So the schedule kind of speaks for itself. There's a lot of variability based on the seasonality, but we're happy to provide this service. We think it's a necessary service. We operated straight through COVID, which gave people a way to transit safely in their vehicles, separated from each other. So we think of ourselves as a very important service down in southern New Jersey and southern Delaware.
Now, of course, we've been talking about that $20 million grant to improve some of the fleet. How does that modernization effort support local economic activity and tourism between Delaware and New Jersey?
Well, I mean, aside from the investment in the new ferry and the ramifications of that, I mean, it would appear that the new ferry will probably be built in one of the Gulf states. That has, of course, not been decided. We'll go out to bid probably in February of 2025. But aside from that, the ferry in its existing format supports the regional economies at a value of $20 for every $1 invested. So that factors in employment, that factors in hotel and restaurants, consumers. that factors in investment and the trickle down effect from that. So we feel like the ferry is very, very powerful economic engine. We talk to our neighbors on both sides of the bay all the time and are partners with them, and they believe that had the ferry not been there, the investment and the development in both shore economies would have been much, much less. So we think we're a good driver. We think we're an important cog in the wheel, and intend to keep on being so.
What is the timeline for the project, and what are the next major steps before the ferry is ready for service in 2027?
So we're completing the design now. We're about 95% complete. This week, actually, we're going to submit drawings and other documents to some of the regulatory agencies to begin their review. We are going through all of the specifications and the contract language thoroughly right now with some help from some consultants. We hope to have that mostly wrapped up and through legal review so that we can put it out on the street early February, mid-February timeframe. And then there'll be several months for shipyards to read the documents, ask questions, and then we hope to contract middle of 2025, and it's about an 18-month to 2-year construction process. So, like you said
And
earlier, mid to late 2027, I think, is the current plan to have the vessel here in Cape May and started testing and trials and training with the crew.
great. And finally, what kind of passenger experience improvements could we potentially expect from the new ferry compared to the older vessels?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're really excited. I mean, that's kind of the fun thing for all the non-mariners are helping to design. What will the galley look like? What will the bar look like? What will the seating look like? And obviously, when you operate ferries that are 40 to 50 years old, we have made improvements over the years, but even some of them are now 10 to 15 years old. So it's really exciting to see the color palettes and the styles and the seating that's available now. And I think we're working really hard to make the Lido bar, which some passengers who might be familiar with our vessels now know that we have Lido bars on the existing vessels, and we put a band out there. And it's really just such a nice time in the summer, and we're working really hard to try to make that a little better, a little more modern, a little more modern amenities, better views, and kind of trying to make it so that you could enjoy that 3 seasons instead of just summer for the new vessel. So I think people will be pleased. We are planning to put some pictures on our website so that people can give feedback. And we're not anywhere near being complete with the interior design, but I think people are going to see that it's different and it's modern, and I think they're going to like it.
Many people are looking forward to seeing the renderings and, of course, the actual vessel itself. Heath Gehrke, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure, Veronica. Good to talk to you.
Get ready to embrace the holiday spirit at Renault Winery's Vintner Wonderland. This beloved holiday festival in Egg Harbor City, New Jersey, offers everything from ice skating to artisan shopping and, of course, delicious culinary delights and fine wines. Visitors can enjoy live entertainment, festive decorations, and a cozy family-friendly atmosphere that celebrates the Christmas season and Renault's successful harvest. Whether you're looking for a weekend getaway or a fun holiday experience close to home, Vintner Wonderland promises to create unforgettable memories. For more, I'm joined by Catherine McDonnell, the Director of Human Capital at Renault Winery. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
So, what makes Vintner Wonderland such a unique holiday experience at Renault Winery?
So Vintner Wonderland is it's a concept that's borrowed from centuries way back from the European traditions, where during the winter families gathered outside, sat outside with around a cozy fire pit. They enjoyed spiced wine, which they call clue vine. It's a spiced wine that is made, that's kind of like warmed up with some spices in it. Clou vine, which Renault actually does make during the winter season. They also partake in hot chocolates, gather around the fire, just for something to do outside during the winter, knowing that there's not much to do. There's no much activities to be done in the winter. So that's a concept that our CEO and COO that introduced at Renault Winery, trying to find ways to keep, number one, team members employed, and also to bring the community together during the winter season, because there's not much to do around the winter season.
Absolutely. And being in South Jersey, very close to the boardwalk and, of course, the beach and the ocean, as you mentioned, in the wintertime, often it is seasonal work. So it's fabulous for the local economy to be able to stay employed. And, of course, if you're not able to make it to Europe, this is a fantastic alternative. Can you describe some of the highlights and activities visitors can enjoy during the different festivals?
Yes, absolutely. Right now, so we keep revamping the Vintner Wonderland experience. This year, we have introduced many activities that are different from years past. This year, we have Buddy's Sweet Shop, which sells hot chocolates, and with the hot chocolates, they're ginormous hot chocolates that are also paired with some donuts. We have peppermint flavored hot chocolate. We have peanut butter flavored hot chocolate, s'mores, as well as a Belgian waffle, a hot chocolate that goes with a Belgian waffle. Very, very good, delicious. And then also the ice skating rink. That has always been, every year that we've had the Vintner Wonderland, the ice skating rink is always open to the public. This year we have done a few things surrounding the ice skating rink. We have a new concept where we're partnering with some charities and not-for-profit organizations where they can sell tickets to the ice skating rink, and half the proceeds from the admission tickets will go to them. So we are partnering with a few charities, and so the day that they are able to partake in the ice skating is on Fridays. So that's a new concept we have. So we're trying to work more and more with the community and try to see how we can help out in the community. Also, we have the Grinch's Laird bar where guests it's an outside bar where guests can buy a cocktail. They can walk around the fire pits and just enjoy, watch their children ice skate, or maybe their loved ones ice skate, adults as well. Also, this year we have the Santa post office where children are able to write letters to Santa. They can mail them. There's a post office. They mail that to Santa, and that mail goes to the North Pole. We also have a photo booth. Families can can take photos using the photo booth, as well as a Renault shop which is selling Renault merchandise, as well as some wine-related crafts that our decor team has put together. We have Santa's workshop as well, so which is located in our Louis Lounge. It's very close to the ice skating rink. So those are some of the activities, or some of the activities surrounding the Vintner Wonderland.
How important are local artisans and vendors to the overall experience?
Oh, they really are very, very important, because we have vendors that come and sell their merchandise at Renault Winery. They can book through our marketing team. So if you're looking to, be for an avenue for you to interact with the community and sell your merchandise, there's an opportunity there. Also, I wanted to mention that we have other activities surrounding just winter in general, especially this December. We have Breakfast with Santa, very popular. We have openings on Sunday the 15th and Sunday the 22nd. It starts. We have 4 sessions each day, 9:30, and the last sitting is at 11:30 both days. We have stories with Santa. So once you leave the Vintner Wonderland area, there's a location inside the Renault Winery building where we have Santa reading stories, telling stories to little ones. So we have Stories with Santa is every Thursday, 4:30 to 6 p.m. and also Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. If families are looking for something to do with your children, we have Family Fun Night every Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., where there's a movie that's being shown, there's a face painting, and then there's a craft that's done surrounding the movie that's being shown at the time. Um, Other things we have going on is we have a masterclass for holiday hors d'oeuvres that will be hosted by our chef Kenny and our chef Al. Guests will be able to learn how to make hors d'oeuvres, and that's something that they can take to their families maybe during the Christmas break, make some hors d'oeuvres with their family members so they can learn how to do those. And then also we have Meet the Maker on December 21st, where our pastry chef Karen is making a yulog. The same day
Now,
on the 21st, go ahead.
please finish.
Yes. On the same day, we have something that the community that's really great for the community as well. We have a 5K run, which is called the Reindeer Run, and a lot of community members do partake in that. And we have a very fun component for our kids. It's a fun run, which is a 1K run for the children. So it's everybody, anybody can take part in the 5K, or adults and kids as well.
And what are the possibility for accommodations for people who want to extend their visit?
So we do have a hotel. We have a boutique hotel, which is we have about 55 rooms. So if anyone was willing to just stay overnight, they can, they can go cross over to the Chateau. It's called Chateau Hotel. And they can book a couple nights if they wanted to stay. So we have a hotel that can accommodate anyone that's coming from far away that wants to stay, enjoy the weekend at Renault Winery. So that's a way to accommodate. And we have something for everybody. We have a wine tasting room. There's a way to just taste all the wines that we have. We have blueberry champagne, which is very popular with a lot of folks. And then also we have some events like cookies and cocktails. It's where it's a cocktail gathering where you enjoy some different cocktails that are paired with some cookies. So we have different activities like that really cater for anybody in the community, anybody young and old.
Now, for people who may not be familiar with the brand, can you tell us a little bit about the history of Renault Winery and its unique ties to France?
Oh, absolutely. So our Renault Winery dates back in 1864, where Louis Renault came from, is a person that purchased Renault Winery, and he came from Champagne, France. So what he was looking for a way to make his vines flourish, and he came to the United States to look for a way to, continue to make his vines uh, continue to grow. So he was experiencing some issues with diseases and pests back in Champagne, France. So he came to the United States to try and figure out how he can save his vines. So he wound up going to California, and he found the same issue with the vines, with the diseases and pests. So he moved back down to Egg Harbor City, where he learned that the dirt here is resistant to the pests. And I think the pest was called Phylloxera. So he was able to graft his vines with the vines that existed in Egg Harbor City, and that's how he was able to save his vines. He started making champagne, and historically, Renault is one of the only wineries that can call champagne here in the United States, because we were grandfathered from Louis Renault coming from Champagne, France. So he opened the winery, and it was Renault Winery was actually his home. And if you visit the property, you will still see that historic aspect of it. It's modernized, but then the historic aspect is still in the property. He made champagne, he made wine. We still have the artifacts of that he used to make wine, to cook the wine, to all those artifacts are still at Renault Winery. And, if anyone visited the winery, they'll be able to see those historic apparatus that were used back then. Also, the history too with the Renault Winery during the Prohibition time. John D'Agostino was able to, I think, purchase the Renault Winery and was making a tonic during the Prohibition time. And that's how Renault Winery was able to continue operating and never lost its existence, which dated back to 1864. So during the Prohibition time, the tonic is the one that kept Renault Winery still in operation.
And the champagne, of course, was loved by a lot of celebrities, including John F. Kennedy and Elizabeth Taylor. It was served at events for them. So just a fascinating history and, of course, cultural transatlantic story and the holiday festivities that are happening now at Renault Winery. Catherine, thank you so much for telling us all about it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for watching South Jersey in Focus. I'm your host, Veronica Dudo. We look forward to seeing you next time. Be sure to watch more on New Jersey at onnj.com.